Jack recounts, out of the corner, a surge of bright light suddenly swelled within the room. Looking back, he was met with the horrific sight of his daughter suddenly engulfed in flames. And as if the initial sight wasn't horrifying enough, Jeannie didn't seem to react as one would if smothered by flames. In fact, her demeanor was unusually calm, not out of some kind of intense form of shock, but as if it weren't causing any pain at all. She didn't stand, only continuing to remain in the chair, hands in lap. Jack and Donald used the convenience of the kitchen sink to douse her in water, which resulted in both their hands getting burned in the process. Even though her disposition was relatively neutral throughout the ordeal, brother-in-law Donald Carroll would later provide a detail that stunned everyone he told. As the flames raged on, he said that Jeannie had fire emanating from her mouth of all places, the fire glowing blue in color, literally shooting outward from the depths of her stomach. Donald said, quote, "She was roaring like a dragon." When the fire was extinguished, Donald and Jack were left with a graphic yet puzzling scene. Jeannie hadn't outwardly shown signs of distress from this, but the results from the fire left more than 90% of her body ravaged by third-degree burns. Even stranger, the cardigan she was wearing burned to a crisp, but neither the kitchen nor the chair she was sitting on was damaged. Jeannie was rushed to the Old Church Hospital in Romford, where doctors documented even more bizarre details. For one, though most of her body had been damaged, her feet and legs were spared from the fire. When Donald told the doctors about the fire shooting from her mouth, they heavily doubted the claim because, surprisingly, there were no signs of burning in her mouth. Despite this being true, Donald remained committed to what he saw. Perhaps the most bizarre result from the medical examination was the fact that none of her internal organs were burned. It's important to note that victims of external fires of this magnitude do in fact suffer internal burns, but this suggests Jeannie's case was something different. Sadly, after 8 days of intensive care, Jeannie Saffin died from bronchopneumonia. Police would search the home where it happened in hopes of finding anything at all to explain how this could have happened. But there was simply nothing to indicate potential for fire hazard, especially not one to specifically affect Jeannie. Nothing electrical was at fault. No gas leaks were found either.